Alright, so today we are going to be starting another quarry. If you remember, roughly about 2 years ago now at this point, we did our first initial quarry here in the overworld that is. And as you can see, this one did pretty well. This was about a 272-ish wide, if not a little bit more or less, give or take. Quarry that we did here for our first one. And this one basically stretched right around, I want to say close to 1,000 blocks or so. That we took it all the way down here. But yeah, this one was our first one, like I said, and we had a 11 block quarry that is coming into view right now. So obviously, as you can tell, there's a lot more build effort compared to current quarries, which is what we're going to be using for the next section over there that we're going to be doing. So like I said, this one's probably close to about 2 years ago that we made this one. It's from Italia. They were on a server, or they are currently still a member on the server with us here. And this is their actual design here. They kind of modified it for this, like that certain height that we needed for our specific mesa biome right here. Because with the level block quarries, it's a lot more difficult to actually scale them up, depending on the terrain, compared to this vertical duper quarry where you can just move the top section up, because you don't need to worry about these grabbers right here every 11 blocks to obviously stop the pushers, so that way they can then push the blocks up. But yeah, this one ran for roughly 1,000 blocks, and on the roof here we had the squishy logo, just because we didn't have this was before the AutoCraft logo. Otherwise I would have done that. And fortunately, we're not going to be able to do something similar like this, because we're not going to have a multi-floor roof on this one, just for the sake of build effort on this one as well. There's really no point in doing a multi-layer roof like this, so we're not going to do that, and we're going to do something a little bit different. That we're going to do on the roof that way there's still at least some decoration and not just a flat line or so. As you can see here, this little next section we're going to go. We're currently working on the main trench right now, which is where I started the clip. We have this, and we can see this little section here is going to go all the way down, basically into this desert if we wanted to go that far, which is pretty crazy to think about. So there's like an extra 50% more length on this as well, but we're also going double the length that we did originally. So this original section was 272. This new one here is about 512-ish or so. So a lot more blocks, and it'll be a lot more lag friendly compared to the 11 block quarry though, which is even better for the larger scale. So yeah, currently we're using a smooth wall trencher that was provided to me by the video that I'm watching right now for quarries. So basically I had a server. Basically last time we had a lot of people that were working on this, and currently now it's just me. So I'm following the tutorial from somebody else, which you definitely should do as well if you never done a quarry before, or you wanted to do one by yourself. There is a great tutorial by JKM, so make sure you guys go check that out. Tutorial there, it's a great help if you've never done anything like this. Even though I've done it before, doing it by myself, it's a whole different sort of thing right now. So hopefully we get some people to help out with this when we get to like the tunnel bores and things like that. But yeah, especially all the movable blocks and stuff like that we'll have to do. But yeah, so this is currently going right now. Smooth walls are kind of cool. This has been going for about 7 hours, so I definitely will not use this for like anything other than a quarry, just because of the build effort or the time it takes to clear out an area, because I probably could have had this done with a regular trencher, I want to say about 2 hours or so max. So to me, I'm only using this for the quarry just because of the smooth walls, and we already have a smooth wall for the other one, so might as well just keep it like that for these. And of course the side ones will also be smooth, so that's the only reason why I'm doing it. Otherwise I probably wouldn't care all too much for the smooth walls. But yeah, this is close to being done. We're only going to Y14. That's all that we need to go down. This will probably go a bit further down, depending on how many blocks you want to keep over, because as you can see, the lowest blocks that get blown up are Y17 right now, and the highest block is Y21 too. So bit of an issue with that, but we don't got to worry about it all too much. The main thing we're going to be avoiding is these lava lakes right here at Y10, and because those are extremely annoying to deal with, which is why the quarries, for the most part, at least in 117, obviously 118 above, you have the extra drain depth, but for us, this is where lava generates and stuff like that, so we got to worry about that and stay above that. So yeah, that means we get no diamonds, none of this stuff, this and that. So really only doing the quarry just for the fun project, because it's been, like I said, 2 years roughly since we've done our previous one. And it's about time to do something a bit different. So yeah, enough rambling. I will continue with this, start on the tunnel borers a little bit later, and we'll go from there. Alright, so as you saw from that time lapse there, we did make the 3 wide trencher here, and now we are pretty lucky that we only need to make one of these, because on the one side of the quarry, we technically need a 4 wide gap, and the 3 wide trencher obviously makes a 3 wide trench, so that really wouldn't work all too well. So what we got here is just avoidance 3 wide trencher here, pretty much used for everything that you need for a 3 wide. Yeah, we used this one in the past for the quarry as well, which is how we were able to get the other trenches for the last one. Now we're going to run this one. I have been also working quite a while on the tunnel borers down here. You can see one coming in around right there, and I've been slowly working on the other one, getting that down. They're a little bit about halfway or so if we were to do another 1,000 blocks down. But yeah, this has been taking, quite a little bit. I did stream one of them, and I'm probably going to be doing a longer stream as well, just because it's going to be New Year's, and let's get a lot of progress done on this area would be pretty nice to start the new year. But yeah, we used it for this one here, so we don't need to worry about running a 3 wide trencher on this side. That's the benefit of what we're doing right now. Basically, it just expanded our quarry already. We only need to run the one, which is really nice because they're not the most difficult things to build. As you can see, that took me like 15 minutes or so to actually build that up in survival. But like this here, sometimes they break because of water and lava, creating cobblestone and things like that. But for the most part, they're pretty nice, especially when you're making large scale trenches that you really don't want to worry about the liquids and such. And that's the best thing about this too, pretty much, is that every single observer that's under the grabbers and things like that is covered by a block in some sort of way. That way, if any liquids do leak onto it, there should be no way for it to update anything, which is good. That way, for the most part, it's able to go through any liquids without issue, unless, of course, you have something like this, where it can create a bit of cobblestone. So definitely still need to watch it just a little bit, of course, and if you know where it's going to be, you can go in and sort of nullify those areas. Water from the top, from the swamp here going down and colliding with lava could create some issues, but for the most part, we're going to just wing it and see how it goes, because like I said, it doesn't take that long to rebuild if we do have to do that, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, good amount of progress on here as well, with the tunnel borers and 3 wide trencher. So technically you're not supposed to start this until this tunnel bore is all the way down. However, this does take quite a while, so I'll let it go while I'm doing the tunnel boring on this side anyway. That way we can kind of speed up the process just a little bit. But yeah, next time I probably come back, we will more than likely have the quarry built up or in the process of building it. and we'll be pretty much good to go from there. But we shall see. Maybe who knows, maybe I change my mind and make another clip. But for now, it's trenching and tunnel boring, getting back to that.
You're so far off, oh, it's like you can't see ahead. These feelings you've caught don't make sense. Your plan's gonna flop. You keep raising doubts without cause. All you feel is dread. My logic is fair. If it's pain, it's ever gonna stop. Cause we both know that one day he's not gonna cry again. Without doubt, it's my say, if all's gonna mend. We both know that one day the sun's gonna rise again. So don't pout for our sake, cause this ain't the end. We both know that one day the sun's gonna rise again. So don't pout for our sake, cause this ain't the end. The sun's gonna rise again. We both know that one day they're just gonna try again. Without doubt, it's our say, if all's gonna mend. We both know that one day the sun's gonna rise again. So don't pout for our sake, 'cause this ain't the end.
Alright, so from that very long time lapse there, you saw the quarry be completed from start to finish. Now, if you weren't in the Discord, or you weren't, of course, in the stream where we built that up non-stop, you definitely wouldn't have seen that, and it was definitely something that I even thought about during the stream that we were not going to get done. But because I did a 12-hour stream for the New Year's, we got it all done with the help of from WAG Hagen Productions as well as Alex. They were a huge help with us with making this quarry in that given time frame. We actually did it in about 9.5 hours. That does include, you know, like breaks and eating food and all that kind of stuff. So probably took around, you know, like 7 to 8 hours of building between the three of us. But I was there from start to finish, and we got it all done. So that is pretty crazy to actually have it done already. And in the meantime, during that, also, WAG did go through and get rid of all the immovable blocks for us as well. I think in total there was only about like 20 or so, which seems very, very low for a 500 wide by 1,000 block long quarry. However, I'm not going to question it because it means less stuff for us to do. But yeah, so definitely thanks to JCam's video as well that, you know, made this process very streamlined and very simple to follow. And even for me, like, yes, we've done a quarry before, but I've never actually done one. And this one definitely seems like it's a lot easier than that old 11 block quarry to at least build up, and I would hope to run in the meantime as well. But you can see we have the roof here. It's sort of something just like arrows in a sense, because we really can't do much because the first one goes to the front here. So you really can't do anything too complicated, otherwise, you know, it'll look weird whatever it stops. So these arrows that I think I have with the colors kind of fit in pretty well instead. But yeah, so it looks like from the map POV, we're going to go all the way across down the 1,000 blocks at the very least to basically tie into what we have the old one. As you can see, I did take part of the roof of the old quarry off. That way this one can just kind of sort of glide right past it and park next to it if needed. But yeah, we got everything all done as well. I did, after the stream, the 12-hour stream for the new year, I did obviously go to bed first off, and then we came back and we just worked on the water streams and stuff like that today. And this was something that I did, obviously off stream. The day after that long stream, I really didn't want to do anything, which is today still, of course, but yeah, everything's all done. Water stream's connected. We have the storage in the center, which is where I was originally. Nothing too complicated here, just a bunch of 6x loaders, sorting out the things that we actually want from this, of course. So terracottas, all those, and they're all 6x loaders, so each block here is able to handle, 54,000. So we got plenty of storage for this as well. So all the blocks we're going to store are right here. Everything else is either just going to basically it's going to just despawn. There's no need for us to keep it, especially the 14 million stone and things like that really aren't needed. Now, yes, some of these we really don't even need a 6x loader for, but it's just easier to make a 6x loader at this point than it is to make a 2x. So just when we're tiling it together like this, way easier to do. And then we have, of course, our storage down here, which is nothing complicated whatsoever. But yeah, I'm a big fan for quarries to not do mixed ones, get it all sorted out to begin with. That way later you don't have to worry about running it through a sorter again just to sort it out. Instead you can just do it right off the bat here. So yeah, we have a little bit of excess item lag, but I don't think that's too big of a deal. If it is, we can always just like attach a cactus or something somewhere in the water stream. That way, we don't have to worry about that. But I think for now, we're pretty much good to go. Bots load in the whole quarry there. We're actually going to run it very, very soon here. Just doing the final checks. We just verified the quarry schematic. That's all good as well. And if we go into this quarry 2, this will be what we're actually going to get from the quarry. Besides, obviously, the 14 million stone. That's not going to happen. So yeah, only 1.6 million terracotta seems a bit low for a 1,000 or 500 by 1,000 block area, but I guess we really can't complain. Almost 900,000 andesite, diorite, granite. But yeah, all the other terracottas you can see here as well. The coal, gold, and iron will be a bit more because obviously you're going to get more than one per ore, even without fortune. Good amount of copper. We usually don't run too much copper, but it's nice to have these in the raw form compared to, if you were to have it in ore form, which we already have plenty of. And then only about 5 shulker boxes of cows, which is why I said we really don't need one of these for it, but we're going to keep it anyway. And other than that, there's really not all too much in here. Obviously, this is from one of the tunnel bores that we got in the schematic, but overall, it's not that much as I thought it would be for a 500 block wide quarry. But that is 117 terrain. Obviously, 118 you have higher mountains and this and that, so definitely it would get a lot more for the value of the quarry if you were in that, of course. But 117, still pretty nice to not have to worry about ever again in terracotta again. At least we hope not. If we do, we still have a little bit of a section down here. We're going to go further if we wanted to as well. But if we wanted to get more after this, we basically have no choice but to find another mesa. So yeah, do the final checks. We'll come back and we'll start the quarry. Alright, so I think we are fully ready to launch the quarry here. Everything has been checked, double checked, triple checked, everything like that. So we should, in theory, be good to go here. I know this wall isn't really needed whatsoever, but wanted to just do it that way. It minimizes anything that could go wrong with block shield erosion. At least we have the one block there across the full wall, and hopefully will help for everything in there. So yeah, everything's all good. Bots are in place. Everything is loaded. Now we get to see if it actually works the way it's intended to. Just the water stream, that's all good to go. Don't gotta worry about that there. Believe we are good to go. So this should push forward because there's going to be plenty of blocks, especially because we got a ravine here. That's also one of the main reasons why I wanted to do that, because there is a huge thing of ravines in the front of the quarry as well. So I wanted to just be sure that we would get through those if there's any liquids hiding behind it whatsoever. Let's just make sure everything actually launched in the first place. It does look good. And surprisingly, this one is double the length of our previous one, but it should be a lot better on the lag efficiency for it, just because of the way everything is going with it. Everything is kind of spaced out as much as it can, especially the roof when it moves forward. They're not all, not a bunch of stuff moving around, just a couple flying machines going back and forth, dropping off the blocks. But here we got the ones up here getting up, which is good. Water curtain should now drop good. This one is going to drop as well. Roof is going to move forward too, so you can see it's grabbed the top bit of the segment there. So move it right to the front here. Let those will go. And then we should be good to go once the water fully drops here, as you can see there. Now we get the TNT to go. Yeah, these dupers, if you haven't seen JKM's video, these are like one of the most satisfying things to watch. They are, there's no minecarts, very easy to build on a large scale as well. And they dupe TNT every other block, which is extremely satisfying to watch these things move. One of the most satisfying parts of the quarry. As you can see, there's a lot of empty terrain up here because, most of it is going to be until we get to the mountains, but for the most part, all we're going to get right now is a bit of stone, which obviously we do not need. But once we get moving into the mesa itself, we will be good to go for everything there. But so far, so good, it looks like. I guess we will see once we start to move forward and things like that. It's actually not that bad for the slice size. Of course, it'll be faster for us in 117 because we don't got to go as high. The good thing about the vertical Duper Quarry is that they aren't as much slower as the level blocks were the higher you go. Because the flying machine's only going to go up and down once instead of the flying machines going up and down multiple times for an 11 block quarry. So yeah, I definitely don't know all too much about this line, but the stuff for quarries I'm definitely learning as I go, so definitely would check out the video, like I said, multiple times for JKM if you wanted to build a quarry yourself, or join the Slimestone Discord, which will also be linked down below. That way you can learn a bit more about the quarries and other designs out there. But yeah, I'm going to try to do a time lapse. It might not be a very long one, but we're going to at least try to get something for the quarry actually running. I know we've done quite a few this episode, but for such a project, I think it's definitely worth it to do something like this. And once these all dock, then we should start sending stuff back down. Watching these ones go down is really satisfying too, because of all the stuff that's being updated, but it works out. Yeah, there should be one slice basically done, just in that little short amount of time there, which is why you can see this thing is definitely much faster than an 11 block quarry would be. It has lots of safety checks to make sure everything docks properly or pushes forward. So there we go, next slice is on the way. Stone walls being moved, blocks are being pushed if they can. If not, they're getting pulled out below, as you can see there. for the most part, for a while, we should be pushing quite a few blocks forward, especially when we're moving through the ravines and stuff like that. So until we get a good majority amount of the way there, we're not going to get a ton of the blocks that we're actually mining in quotation marks. So we shall see with that in a little bit, but you can see some actual terrain here because it's not just the stone wall. Got a lot of diorite, andesite, granite, all that kind of stuff there. And we'll deal with that other stuff in a little bit as well, but so far, so good. I'm going to sit back, enjoy watching this for a little bit, and then once this is all done, we'll cut to a time lapse of the quarry actually running, maybe overnight, maybe who knows. We'll see what I can do.
This is how I like it.
Alright, so the quarry's been running for probably about a day now, I would say, where it's been full working, everything's all been good to go. And yeah, about a third of the way, so I think at the math that I did right, it'll be about 3 days or so, and it will be fully across the 1,000 blocks that we are going around. The math did break down to right about 5 minutes per slice here with this 100 and I think it's 100-ish block tall version of the quarry for us. Obviously 117 terrain, and then we want to get all the mountains inside of it, so roughly, give or take, about 100 blocks or so. So overall, it's not too bad at all, especially compared to the old 11 block quarries, which probably would be a bit longer than the 5 blocks. I don't remember exactly, but there is the video, I think it's roughly about 2 years ago now at this point, where we did the first quarry over there. So yeah, overall, going pretty well. Roof's working. As you can, the first bit is the red, so kind of use this marker right here, which is this little black section here, as like your marker for the roof. So that's like how you know like it did a full cycle in a sense. Obviously you can memorize the colors being red, orange, yellow, but if you wanted to use one full color, this would be your marker of where the roof is in the cycle in a sense, if you cared about that. But yeah, it looks pretty cool going across. You know, I don't mind it. Can't really do all too much like the other one we did where we had the squishy logo on it. Unfortunately, there's that's kind of what happens there. Storage is working pretty decently. We got quite a bit of materials here already. I think it's like 300,000 diorite and counting. Same with the granite. And the andesite actually has a bit more. I think it's like almost, no, about the same. We got a good amount of dirt as well because we had that big hill biome in the first there as well. Terracotta is a bit low. Obviously, you're not going to expect too much. There is quite an influx of the orange terracotta, surprisingly. Orange terracotta is kind of the highest we get, besides, of course, the regular terracotta, which we have about 300,000 of. But yeah, good amount of coal. Obviously, you get that from the skeleton farm anyway, so not really that big of a deal. Raw gold, decent amount. Good amount of copper so far. Bit of iron, no calcite yet, and that's pretty much everything so far. A little bit of brown and the light gray, but overall, not too much as of right now. There's still 2/3 of the way to go, though, so we'll definitely get there soon enough. And block shield's holding well. There was a couple bits about that way I did fix, but this version of the quarry is technically block shield erosion proof, so we should be fine either way. I've come back multiple times and there's been, you know, water's leaking over, but it seems to work fine with it. Most of the observers are pretty much covered, so nothing should technically break. Your water collection might not be, you know, perfect. It might not be great there, but it will save you from having to maintenance it all the time for the most part. I fixed a couple holes, but overall it's not been too bad. I actually don't mind it because it hasn't technically, you know, it's been good this whole time, which is obviously a great thing for the quarry, not having to worry about, you know, with this break-in gravity blocks, as you can see here, again, broken. You would think you would be able to collect these because it goes into water stream, but most of them basically get blown up by the first and second TNT, so you're really not going to get any gravel or sand or anything like that from the quarry because of that. But yeah, it's actually kind of crazy how the quarry, running the quarry itself, is the shortest part for the most things that you have to do for the quarry compared to everything else, and it takes less time than most stuff, just kind of crazy. But AutoCraft's archive is officially live. It is mainly a collection of all of the perimeter decorations that are on AutoCraft. So if you were ever interested in picking up one of these, now would be the best time to do so. Visit the website linked down below. Alright, so the quarry has been running for its full 3 days now. It's been basically since it's been over here. And as you can see, this area has been cleared out completely here. So this is actually pretty cool. Now we have it with the other ones. So we have about like a 750-ish block long terrain from the start to the finish over here. And that goes for roughly about 1,000 blocks fully cleared out from quarries so far. So if we ever do want to expand a little bit more, we definitely could go over here again, another like 250 blocks. And that way we have an 1,000 by 1,000 area that'll be cleared out by a quarry, which will be pretty cool. Now, if you did see on the map there, we didn't really go all the way down. However, just because of what we want to do with it, we didn't really go too much further for right now. And plus we wanted to do a couple other things on the server, as well as also extend the tunnel bores a little bit further, which they have been done here. This is the tunnel bore from the old one. As you can see, this is a different design, much more bulkier, and only a single shot, I believe. Yeah, definitely a bit of a bulkier one. I'd say it works pretty well. Obviously, you have different scenarios where it will fail, like this right here, where there's a bit of gravel in the top section here. It's not going to work the best because obviously it doesn't clear out that gravel, which would mean you need to clear that out yourself. Otherwise, with Desu's one that we used here, this has been like the easiest tunnel bore expands I've ever had. Then again, I've never done one really in the overworld before, but from what I've heard, it's not as, you know, enjoyable as the Nether, even though the Nether's like could be pretty annoying. I think that this one, that it deals with the gravel and stuff like that with ease, definitely helps out quite a ton when boring in here. I could have done this for a couple more thousands of blocks if I wanted to, because it just wasn't that bad. But yeah, this has been extended a little bit further. As you can tell on the map that this one can actually go further than the other ones, just because of the extra terrain. You really don't want to send an 11 block quarry through water. It's not the best for that whatsoever. But yeah, so if we were to extend this, we would have to build up another 3 wide trencher on the right side here, let that run again. And I would think we have to extend our other 3 wide trencher over here. It's a little bit further, so that's not too bad. That one's already actually quite far down, which is good. That way we don't got to worry about running this one. But yeah, if we're running this one over there, we'll have to do that eventually if we decide to extend it over there. But we kind of just have like the preparations are all there if we want to extend it. But for now, I think it'll be parked right here. If we do extend it, definitely I will be in a different video there. But overall, this has been like the easiest quarry that I've ever done in terms of building it, everything like that. Running it also has been like the most easiest thing I've ever seen for me compared to that 11 block quarry. I know we had so many different failures with this thing before. So this one definitely has been a overall much better experience. So definitely, like I said before multiple times in this video, check out JKM's video if you are interested in doing a quarry and you want a sort of guide on how to do so. I basically followed that thing to a T, and this was the smoothest one I've ever had. And of course, thanks to Desu and Javier for creating this amazing quarry here. It's, you know, one of the best things, especially in 118 plus terrain, because you're going to have a higher, you know, top section here. So it's easy to just get the bit here and then just extend this top part as ever high as you need to go. And then you don't got to worry about the difficulties of extending that as well. But yeah, water stream, that's going all the way to the center here where we had the storage. Let's take a look at what we actually got before we end the episode off here. So almost a little bit over 800,000, I want to say, of the andesite and granite stuff, and as well as a diorite, probably a little bit more. Yeah, about the same as that as well. We got our calcite shulker boxes there that we were, you know, lucky to have. Decent amount of raw iron, not as much as I honestly thought we would be getting. But, you know, it is what it is. Copper, a little bit over 100,000. Same with the gold there. Coal, roughly 200,000. That's actually not that bad. Obviously, we have other farms that can produce much more coal than that. Dirt we will actually keep because obviously there's really not a way to get a bunch of it. So roughly 500,000 of that. Now, from a mesa, that's actually pretty good. If we were to quarry out like, you know, like a jungle or anything like that, we would definitely get a lot more of that. Only about 200,000 brown terracotta. Same for the light gray. Almost 250,000 white. 400,000 yellow. 500,000 orange. Only a little under 300,000 red, but the regular terracotta should be pretty high, which is obviously the most we're going to get. So that is 500,000 there. There's about 800,000 in that slice, and I would say about 500,000 in this slice. So yeah, about the 1.3 million that we expected. Obviously a little bit less because we didn't go all the way for the 1,000 blocks that we scanned. However, we can also go an extra 500-ish blocks if we were to extend it, like I said. But we're not going to do that for right now. Mainly wanted to just, you know, do a quarry because it's been such a long time. And like I said, overall, this has been one of the best experiences that I've ever done for a quarry. And yeah, overall, extremely easy. Definitely you can do it. If I've never done one before and I can do it like this, you are definitely able to as well if you've been thinking about doing it. Yeah, the roof here, honestly like how it turned out. It's something very simple, but it does work. Even this little dead space here that we have, you can kind of consider this, when I was talking to someone else about this, it's just like a marker for the roof. So the roof starts at this red section here. And this is the back bit of it. So you can kind of see like where it's in the cycle of the roof to give you like a little bit of like a distance calculator if you wanted to. Otherwise, if you can look at your coordinates, but Yeah, unfortunately we couldn't really do anything with like the old logo with the quarries because obviously we don't need a 3-high roof, and this is much more expensive and not really worth it, to be honest with you, compared to the simplicity of building this roof over here compared to this one. But yeah, definitely I'm loving how this area turns out. We got plenty more rooms for map art, so if you definitely want to be so if you want to get your own map art made in the quarry area, be sure to head over to the streams and you can just, you know, hang out there and you can earn enough channel points to get your own map art in this area because now we got plenty of space to build more. So yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, all those sorts of things, and I'll see you in the next one.